The sun is out. It's been raining for the past few days, so I thought it was a good opportunity to come out here and shoot. I want to test out the Lomo'instant white glass. So I'm going to be documenting my shoot today, and I'll share the shots and give a little review on the camera. So yeah, let's go. Very quiet neighborhood. Very sleepy neighborhood actually. This is where I grew up. Not in this block, but somewhere further down. But yeah, this place has remained almost unchanged. The market is still here. These blocks of flats are predominantly rental flats. So they're not as fancy as the newer ones that are being built in Singapore. But still quite charming. Still quite a nice spot to take it slow, you know, just relax, do some vlogging, and take some nice shots. It's the Lomo'instant white glass because it uses a glass lens and it shoots on instax white, Fuji instax white. Those films come in black and white and color, and the ISO is actually 800, so it's pretty flexible. The only other instax white camera that I shot with is the, give me a second. Is the Lomo Graphlog bag, which I use with my 4x5 large format camera. That's not really a camera because it's just a instant film bag, which you have to pair it with another camera. So I would say this is one of my first instax white camera that has a glass lens. It's a really hot day. Can't complain. It's been raining the past few days. So I'm heading over there. This is a very nice, colourful block which overlooks the market. It's 3 in the afternoon right now, so not as busy as lunchtime. You get like the lunch crowd from the nearby factories, so if you come here during lunch hour, it's pretty hectic. But now it's fine, everyone's back at work. Except me, I'm just going around taking pictures. So I like to position myself right in this spot right here. It overlooks the nice blocks of flat. Really like the colours. Lots of, let's say, older generation living around here. You know, no one's rushing, no one's taking their time. Lots of nice open spaces. Little pockets of shelter for you to just relax. And yeah, I like it, actually. Oh, shot. I think I got that. Let's see. I like it. Not bad. It's quite an automatic camera. There's not much functionality to it. There are some functions which you can sort of like set manually, but other than that, it's really just a point and shoot instax wide camera, which has some pro, I would say, functionality. It's getting a bit cloudy right now. One is good because it's not as hot. But two, I think the pictures will start to look very dull. But we'll see. We'll see. Quite liberating not to worry about focusing and exposure and just shoot. I think my only gripe is the framing. I'll cover that during my review. But meantime, the sun is out. I'm gonna finish up my 3 shots, and then I'm gonna find a nice shady area that's quiet and less awkward to do my review. Okay, I'm done with my shots. So I'm just gonna find a spot in the market and just get a drink and talk about the camera. Hello. Hi. Teo Peng Siu Tai. Hot day. I'm not joking. Okay, so yeah, like I mentioned, did I mention Lomography sent me this camera? I'm not paid to do this review. They just sent it to me and say, hey, would you like to try it out? I'm saying sure. I'll try it out. I'll do a video about it. So my comments are purely my own, and my opinions are purely my own as well. So I just want to run through the camera a little bit. One thing I really like about this camera is the lens cap. It's actually, it doubles up as a remote shutter as well as a timer. So you just have to put batteries in, and you can, like, if you're into like selfies or group shots which you want to be in, this is a great idea. The lens, the glass lens, it is a 90mm f8. If you put it in the context of the instax wide size, it's equivalent to about a 35mm. Oh dear. Okay. Whew. Sweating. Heavy guy. Heavy equipment. Not as heavy as this. This is pretty light actually. It doesn't come with a strap, this is my strap. So I thought it'd be easier if I brought a strap along and film as well. If not, I'll be holding this with one hand and holding my gimbal on the other hand. It's not really ideal. It gets attention for sure. I mean, I'm walking around this like huge camera, so I guess it's not very discreet. But that's what all instax wide film cameras are. You're restricted by the size of the medium because the medium is so big. The camera has to be of a certain size in order to accommodate the medium. So you actually cannot miniaturize this any further. In terms of shooting instax wide, this is the smallest you can actually go with a really good quality lens. So far the lens has produced pretty sharp images. This is the viewfinder that I was talking about. I don't know, I think this is the best position to place the viewfinder. It makes sense. You can't really place it above the lens because that's where the film ejects. You can't really place it at the bottom as well because that's where you mount your tripod to it. So I think the next logical position will be just off the top to the right. I constantly find myself to having to correct my parallax error or the camera's parallax error in order to get the composition that I want. I normally like to shoot view through the lens, use SLR cameras. Only very rare occasions I'll use rangefinders. The rangefinders, at least they give you a close enough idea of how your shots would turn out. But this is really, you need to pick this up and really look through the viewfinder to really figure out what the lines mean and what the shaded area means. Some distance it might mean something, some distance might mean something else. After a few shots, I think it will be no problem for you to get used to it. But if you want to be very critical about your framing, then I don't think this is the best system for you. There's a flash, which I didn't use much. It uses AA batteries. let's see, 4 of them actually. And I've shot 2 packets of Instax white through this so far. It's holding up really well. The shutter, by the way, is this button over here, if you haven't noticed. It's quite an easy position for you to misfire just by holding the camera. If you're not careful, you'll hit the shutter button. But yeah, anyway, like most part of the camera it's all about getting used to it. The back is very straightforward as well. You have your latch which opens up to change your film, your packet of Instax white. There's a frame counter over here. So 10 doesn't mean that you've shot 10 shots apparently. It means that you're on your 10th shot and you have 1 more shot to go. Only when it's 0, then you're done. So there are 4 focusing positions for the lens. There's 0.3 meters, which is for macro. 0.6 meters, which is for your headshots. 1 to 2 meters if you're like shooting a couple, 2 people in a shot. And finally, infinity. So today, bright sunny day, I'm shooting like architecture, people in architecture. Not really so much on portraits. I set it to infinity because I know it will be in focus on this bright day. My aperture is going to be like small because it's so bright and because the film speed is so fast. You have to burn the first shot, which is normally the dark slide. And you tend to forget it if you don't have an eject button because you need to actually take a shot for it to eject. Unlike the Lomo'instant bag where you just load the film in, the first thing you do is to eject the dark slide and you're ready to go. Instead of a eject button, they have a multiple exposure button. Right over here is marked as MX. So if you were to turn it on, the film will not auto eject. It will only eject once you turn it off and then you took your last exposure. You can take like multiple exposures. You can take 2 exposures, 3 exposures, up to 100 if you want. It will only eject after you turn it off and you take the last shot. Above the button is the flash on off. Like I mentioned, I don't use that much. So I always find myself having to turn the flash button off because I'm shooting out in the day. I don't want to get attention, or it's not necessary to have flash. So normally you have to like turn it on and consciously turn off the flash button. If not, it won't fire. Below the MX button is the exposure compensation. So +1, 0 and -1. +1 is +1 stop, makes your image brighter. 0 is neutral, -1 is if your shots are too bright, you probably have to -1. I think that's only for flash or strobes. One thing I forgot to mention is they also have a flash sync, which I've used it for my portrait shoot. I'll show the pictures up in a bit. I thought that was quite useful. Below the exposure compensation, you have your settings. So this is in the off position. To turn the camera on, you just have to twist it or turn it to any one of these 4 positions. The first position is the A position, which is the auto position, the auto function. You just have to set it to A and you'll control your shutter speed and your aperture automatically. B stands for bulb, so you can hold the shutter curtain open as long as possible. After B is the aperture priority, which is f22. And then finally you have your shutter priority, which is 1/30. Okay, right over here. For my portrait shoots, I actually set it to f22 because my strobes are actually quite powerful and I don't want to constantly be focusing or worry about focusing. So I'm just going to set to f22, have a really deep depth of field, set my focusing distance to 0.6 or 1 to 2 meters, and I'm actually good to go. I like to shoot Instax wide in the portrait mode as compared to the landscape mode. I agree. Most of you would comment saying, "Oh, Instax wide is meant to shoot like a landscape mode. That's where you make full use of the width of the image." Yeah, but it's just my preference. I like to shoot architecture with people in them. So most of my shots you see are actually like portrait orientation. And it looks nice on Instagram actually. If you scan your Instax wide in portrait mode, You get that full like benefit of the format of Instagram to your advantage. I think it's quite a serious enough camera to be taken seriously, but still the part about the composition really bothers me a lot. I'm kind of a photographer who's really very critical about my composition, and I like to know how my shots will turn out exactly the way I see it. But it's quite a fun camera to bring it out. Like if I imagine you have a party, friends, girls night out, boys night out, it's a fun camera to bring around. Other than that, the images turn out really nice. Can't wait to scan them and show them to you. So yeah, thank you so much, and here are the pictures. Does that look natural?